Here's the KOMOTO X1500. We're going to show you how to remove the rear wheel and put the track back on it. There's a few steps that are required. You need a 21mm socket for both these bolts. You need 4mm for up here, 4mm hex, 5mm hex to remove the brake caliper and the bracket. You're also going to need 2 Allen keys that come in here for when you install the main track. I want to show you how to remove it right now. So what we're going to do first is you're going to take the seat off. We have this on a box. You can kind of see it leans forward a little. We recommend, using the box that the wheel comes in. We're going to disconnect this Gillette connector, and that's done. So we just try to get that out of the way. The next step that we're going to do is we're going to use 4mm here to 4mm hex to remove this fender. To get this out of the way, there's 4 screws, 2 on each side so don't lose them. Alright, so we got the fender off, put the screws in a safe spot, that little bag that comes inside. The next step, I'm going to remove the brake caliper just because we can get that out of the way. Just so you can see, so make sure you don't lose any of the spacers because there's spacers underneath it. See the spacers? Some there just fell out. Some more spacers, so make sure you keep that into consideration because you will need those. All right, so we got that off. We're gonna move this bracket too since we're here. Bracket's down. All right, save that stuff for later. Move this off to the side. What we're gonna have to do is we can remove the wheel now. We're gonna do that with 21mm. So we're just gonna take this off. So that way we can just get the wheel out of here. All right, so the wheel's gonna probably just fall down. Make sure you save these bolts and nuts, not the bolts, nuts, so that way you can use them. There's spacers like these. You just want to save those, put them on the side. They're not used for the track, they're used just on the wheel. So put that in a safe spot back in the box too, where you probably had it or wherever you decide to store it. All right, so now we have the wheel off. So there's the next step to getting this bracket on. So we're gonna have to remove, when we're looking here, there's a few screws that we need to remove. And you can see them right here. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So those screws have to be removed in order for us to take off this back piece so we can get the mounting set up for the track. All right, so be careful with this because there is a wire right here. So you just want to be really gentle with that to not damage this wire that's right here. All right, so when we're looking in here, there's a few different pieces that we have to be looking at. And you can see it right here. So what we need to do is, this is the shock and this is the back bracket for the mounting on the track. So what we're going to do is we're going to usually put the first piece on. I like to do the mounting track like first because it makes it a little bit easier because it takes some time here. So this piece, obviously when you're looking at it, when we're looking here, it goes like this. Down and like this. You don't want to push it like this, it won't work. It's like this. So that is how the bracket works. You have to make sure you don't place it the wrong way. So like obviously I was showing you like this, So you'll see when it goes down, it's actually shaped like this. So this is how you want to do it. You know, I maybe showed a little bit goofy wrong there for a second. You're gonna have to use the small Allen keys that come in with. They're 5mm. This is kind of a pain in the butt. It takes a little bit and a lot of patience. So, gotta bear with me here. Once you get it loose enough, you should maybe be able to hand screw it, but save some time. All right. So this piece might not be in there, or might be in the end of your mounting bracket, or vice versa. All right. So like I said, goes like so. This is the one that is kind of a pain in the butt to tighten because there's not a lot of space in here and you have to use the Allen keys. You really can't use any power tools or anything like that. So just gotta kind of take your time. All right, you want to make sure that's snug. You see how it kind of moves there, but make sure that's tight because that's the extra bracket for the snow scooter. So that's what you want to do there. All right, so now here's the other piece that goes in here to support this, which connects to the ski. So we're going to show you now the next steps here of how to do that. And hopefully this goes smoothly. So there's a few extra steps that you need to do on the track here. We need to loosen this top bracket right here. And you have to remove this. Otherwise the ski can't expand, so the track can't expand with the metal to go around the axle. So this is just the way I like to do it. I remove this, save these, makes it easier because we have to spread this open. So down here, if you look, there's two screws here and here. So we're gonna loosen these screws. And we're gonna do that on the other side also. And that's just so the metal can flex some here when we're trying to mount it up on here. So let's see if I can get this a good angle. So when we're trying to do this, you're trying to basically spread the track. So we'll show you on top here. So if you look here, you can see how the track spreads here. So you want to get the axle on the inner side in for this mounting piece. So this mounting piece here is on the inner side here, and this is on the outside. So this is on the outside, this is on the outside. You see how I spread that, how I move that? We want to put the axle on the inner side here with this metal bracket here. This is going to go on the inside, not the outside, inside. That's very important. So hopefully we'll get that done smoothly and we'll see what happens here. The brake caliper you just want to place out of the way, so you pretty much are going to spread this, and you see how I had the axles just go right up in there? And you see now, when we look closer, how this is set up. So see how this is on the inside and this is on the outside, and then that's how that goes down. So very, very important you do it that way. If you do it any other way, it will not work. Right now you can see how the ski's kind of, you know, the track's kind of hanging down and doing that its own thing. So I try to push this up first, and then what I like to do is I like to put these bolts on first. The 21mm, I just do this, so then that way it kind of creates a tautness, creates it tight, allows us to give us some extra work room, so then as we're doing what we need to do to get everything to function properly, then the next step is you're going to want to tighten the bolts down here that we were working on before. So we'll tighten these up since we have it stretched over. And be careful not to strip them. All right, so now we have those all done. So we still need to do the top bracket, and you can see here how this whole thing like rocks. All right, so we're gonna show you the next step here. Top bracket goes over. This stretches into here. So what I like to do is I like to just put this mounting bracket in first to its hole, and then I like to tighten this. This is still 5mm hex. This is just what I like to do. Makes it easier. All right, so you want to watch how tight you make this, because if you make it too tight, then it won't really flex and move to what you need to do. So then obviously you have to line up the holes on this bracket. So see how I'm shifting this up and down? That's how you get the holes to match up. Otherwise, if you don't do that, the holes won't match up. So that is something you will find out from doing it, but you can see here how I'm shifting it up and down. Oh, and then it popped out of the wheel. So see, that could be an issue when you're doing this, where I didn't have it on there all the way tight. So now we're gonna flip up this bracket. It's kind of good that happened. And then you can see, you know, it shouldn't have popped out on us there, but it did. But remember, on the outside, you know, if I would have made the wheels a little bit more, you know, somehow this flexed out. This got in my way too. So we'll see what happens here. Normally it shouldn't have fallen out like that. Alright, so this is what I didn't want to have happen. Makes a good video, I guess. I'm just taking this bracket back out of the way because it was getting in my way of trying to do this. And then me trying to loosen these bolts up, so I can't believe this fell off. Because I didn't really have it on there that tight, so I was kind of surprised. Yeah. In future, I probably should have made these tight. So, it is what it is. Because that should have not fallen out on us when we were doing that. I probably should have just made it tight from the start. Alright, so hopefully you're high enough up in the axle, things like that. I just tighten it this way. Back to what we were doing here. Before I was showing you how to put this in for the main bracket. Like I said, I like to do that first always. So, back up here. Big epic fail moment. Making my videos extra long. Come on. Alright. Now, like I was showing before, we were trying to match this up and then I had it fall down on us. So, match the holes up. Take your time. And then we'll do the other side. Might have to adjust things to get stuff to fit, give or take. So if you do tighten one side sometimes to get the other side to fit, you might have to adjust stuff see how it just dropped again? Yeah, it wasn't matching up on the other side, so you have to kind of play with it. And that's the trick here, is trying to get stuff to match up sometimes can be goofy. And a lot of it is too, is if you're having any issues, like as I'm witnessing here, you know, make sure that's actually even, because that seemed to be part of the problem, is this axle right here wasn't far enough up. So make sure you have enough of that properly, because if you don't have it flush correctly, the screws and stuff will not fit. Yeah, there we go. Looking more like it's gonna fit this time. Alright, you can see how we ran into some of the troubles and problems, so that's good for you to see. So that way you have an understanding of what can go wrong. Up here, put this back on, and then it's just the 4 millimeters all around for the seat and the bracket that holds the battery. Alright, so now we have all those back attached. Make sure you do cable here, make sure you match it up properly. You don't want to put a shit in there the wrong way, you'll regret that. Do that. Make sure both your 21 millimeters are tight on each side now. You know, life is kind of on the line, so that is kind of important. You know, next steps we have now are the bracket and the brake caliper. So we're going to show you here real quick, just give you an idea of what needs to be done. So the bracket just goes here. You know, you can just take off just the bracket if you want without the brake caliper. I just took them both off, even though you can, the best way, in all honesty, is to leave this attached onto here and then do it. So we'll try that once just to show you. So what we're going to do here is put that in 2 spacers here, and then attach that to there. Same thing again, this, we'll use 2 spacers. There's usually extra spacers in the bag of screws. We're just doing this to save some time. So, because it's hard to get your fingers jammed in there and work on this track once it's all set up. So it's easier when this is on here at the bracket like this. So, and you can slide it around the rotor. Look for the holes that match everything up. Make sure you slide the brake caliper over the rotor. Hopefully that's self-explanatory. If not, there's probably videos everywhere on the internet. But so we got 1. And 2. So we're gonna get these off. Alright, then the last and final step is there's 2 screws here where you adjust the brake caliper, where right now you're going to hear it rubbing. So you need to just adjust this brake caliper left to right by centering it on here. And you can kind of see in here when you're doing it, so it's not like too difficult. But you need to use some of the Allen keys that come with it. So there's like a little hole here. So this goes up in here, and you know, like this isn't even tight. Yeah, so, but you'll see when you have it in there how to center the brake caliper. Depending upon, you know, when you're looking at the top view here, you can see how it's gonna grab the rotor, give or take. So, like for example here, I'm pushing it over some. You know, it takes a moment. You could have it pre-tightened beforehand, or when you take it off, the wheel mode, that usually works, one of the better ways to do it. So that's always a big ploy. And then we'll see here, we'll just adjust it some. But you'll hear it rub, give or take, depending upon how you need to adjust it. You know, you might have to go up top and adjust your brake screw, because that also plays a role in this. So if you loosen up your brake screw a little, you know, it might not rub as much. But you have to find that sweet happy spot. It can take a minute. I'm just showing you a little here. It shows you, so you have an idea of how it can be kind of frustrating centering it. It's usually not too difficult, but it's really about how you center it. So what I recommend doing is, usually I try to make the bottom flat and good, and then I usually try to push the top over, and then that way we don't run into, like right now, I just did that method and tightening it. Now, hear how we hear nothing? It's quiet. Yeah, that's because I centered the brake. And like I said, there's a screw up top on the brake handle that you can adjust. But you can see now, look, boom, silent, good to go. So you can't really see it, but you center it in there between the brake pad and that. And that's how you change out the track on the KOMOTO X1500. You obviously can put your seat back on, do that. But these are the basic steps on what you need to do in order to install the track. So then that way you're all set.